Have you ever thought, did I say the right thing? As you were repeating a discussion in your head? Or maybe you thought twice before sending an email and asked yourself, will this make me look dumb? And then you realize that everyone else is so confident of themselves. They don't think too much. They don't think twice. They just do it. But you ask yourself questions. A lot. Your mind might feel like a courthouse with you as both the judge and the defendant. You're not the only one who has heard that before. And the truth is that doubting yourself isn't always a bad thing. Could be an indication of something far bigger, though. We call this self-awareness. But there's a catch. When self-awareness turns into self-doubt, it can keep you stuck in cycles of worry, uncertainty, and insecurity. Today, we'll talk about why you doubt yourself more than other people, the science behind it, and most importantly, how to use self-awareness without letting self-doubt take over. You'll have a new way of looking at your inner critic and tools you can use to make it work for you by the end of this video. Let's change the way we think about self-doubt, which most people see as a bad thing. People often don't understand self-doubt. We call it a weakness, a mistake, something to throw away. But here's another way to look at it. Self-doubt is often the brain's way of keeping you safe and ready. Think of it this way, your brain has a radar. It looks for possible errors, dangers, and social blunders. It flashes a warning that says, maybe rethink this. When it sees something that isn't clear, that warning is doubt in yourself. This is the hard part. When this warning system is too active, it can make you unable to move. You start to doubt every choice, every action, and every word. But the same system, when it is in balance, is what lets people think, learn, and change. In other words, self-doubt and self-awareness come from the same place. They are brothers and sisters. One can ruin things while the other can change them. So why do some people doubt themselves more than others? A lot of it has to do with how your mind works and your personality. One important thing is what psychologists call metacognition, which means thinking about thinking. Individuals with heightened self-awareness possess enhanced metacognitive abilities. They are always thinking about their own thoughts, choices, and actions. That sounds good, right? But here's the twist. The same metacognition that helps you be aware of yourself can also make you doubt yourself if it gets too active. Your mind keeps going over different scenarios, like a hamster on a wheel, asking, what if I'm wrong? What if I made a mistake? Social comparison is another factor. It's easy to feel like you're falling behind when you only see other people's successes or confident actions, even if you're doing fine. You question yourself more, which makes you more anxious, which makes you question yourself even more. This is called a feedback loop. Let's go a little deeper. Don't worry, I'll keep it simple. The prefrontal cortex is a part of your brain that helps you make decisions, plan, and think about yourself. The amygdala, on the other hand, reacts to perceived threats and makes people feel anxious or scared. Your prefrontal cortex is working too hard when you ask yourself too many questions. You're looking at every detail, weighing the pros and cons, and thinking about the worst possible outcomes. At the same time, your amygdala is saying, this could go wrong. The mix, perfect storm for self-doubt. Here's a comparison. Think of your brain as a car. The prefrontal cortex is the driver, and the amygdala is the passenger who keeps yelling, watch out, danger. Most of the time, the driver listens, makes smart changes, and keeps going. But if the passenger keeps yelling, the car slows down or, even worse, stops. You don't want to silence your inner voice. You want to tune it so that it becomes a helpful guide instead of a constant critic. Now that we know how things work, let's make the difference between self-awareness and self-doubt clear. Self-awareness means you pay attention to what you think, feel, and do. You ask yourself things like, why did I act that way? Or, how can I do this better? You think about things without judging them, and you use what you learn to get better. Self-doubt. You question yourself all the time, and most of the time you don't like what you find. Things like, I'm not good enough, I always mess things up, or what if everyone thinks I'm stupid? Run through your mind. You're thinking about things, but the thoughts are distorted and critical of yourself. This is a useful way to tell them apart. Being self-aware helps you do better. Self-doubt stops you from doing things and makes you less sure of yourself. You can move from self-doubt to productive self-awareness once you can tell the difference between the two. Step 1. Give your doubt a name. Does that sound silly? It does work. This is what psychologists call externalization. You make mental distance from your inner critic by treating it like a separate person. For instance, if your inner voice keeps saying, "You're going to fail," put a label on it. "Oh, that's the voice of overthinking Olivia again." Now it's easier to see, think about, and even argue with it. You might wonder, is Olivia right? Or am I just making things up? When you name the critic, they go from being a dictator to a conversation partner. Instead of saying, "Am I good enough?" try saying, "What can I learn from this?" Judgment and comparison help self-doubt grow. By changing the question, you can change the focus from judging yourself to growing as a person. For example, think about how you would feel if you gave a speech and messed up a few words. Self-doubt says, "I'm not good at speaking in front of people." When you reframe it, it says, "Okay, what can I do next time to make my speech clearer?" Same thing. It has a very different effect on your brain and self-esteem. Do you remember the social comparison loop? It's a big reason why people doubt themselves. Check-ins for comparison are a useful tool. You should ask yourself, am I comparing my behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel? Limit how much you scroll through social media or use it wisely. Don't worry about how successful other people look. Instead, focus on your own growth. A simple trick is to keep a personal progress journal. Keep track of your successes, improvements, and times when you were strong. It helps your brain remember that you're making progress, even when it doesn't feel like it. The most important thing to remember is to treat yourself like you would a friend. You don't yell at someone you care about when they doubt themselves. You encourage, direct, and calm. So why not treat yourself the same way? Self-compassion isn't pampering. It's backed by science. Self-compassion lowers cortisol, a stress hormone, makes it easier to make decisions, and makes you more resilient. Do this exercise. When you start to doubt yourself, stop and tell yourself, "It's okay to feel unsure. I'm getting better and better." Your brain hears these words loud and clear, even though they are simple. A gentle reminder before we move on. If you have a lot of self-doubt that doesn't go away or is linked to depression, anxiety, or trauma, you should get professional help. High sensitivity, ADHD, or past trauma can make self-doubt worse. These aren't weaknesses. They're differences in the brain or mind that need special strategies and, in some cases, help from an expert. Being aware of yourself is a journey. Give yourself time. Growth isn't a straight line, and doubting yourself doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you're human. So, how do we use all of this in our daily lives? Here's a simple structure. Warning: know when self-doubt is talking. Don't ignore it, but don't let it run your life either. Name. Put a name on the voice. Oh, that's Olivia who thinks too much. Reframe. Instead of asking questions that are critical, ask questions that are helpful. Think about it, don't dwell on it. Learn from your mistakes, but don't keep going around in circles. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself the same way you would a friend. Think of this as working out. Every time you catch yourself doubting yourself and change your mind, you become more aware of yourself without getting anxious. This changes the way your brain works over weeks and months so that it reacts more calmly, thoughtfully, and with more confidence. Here's an important point. Asking yourself questions isn't a bad thing. It means you want to grow, learn, and understand what you're doing. Don't feel bad about overthinking. Instead, use it as a way to learn more about yourself. You can turn it from something that keeps you from doing things into something that helps you make better choices, think more deeply, and be more emotionally strong. Breathe deeply. Tell yourself, I can learn from my thoughts without letting them control me. Every time you stop doubting yourself, you win a little. And over time, those small wins build up to a way of thinking that lets you question things in a smart way, not a destructive way, and make choices that are sure of themselves. Let's go over it again. It's not always bad to question yourself. It can be a way to become more self-aware. When self-doubt is always there, judging you and keeping you from doing things, it becomes a problem. Neuroscience can tell you why your brain sometimes goes through a worst-case scenario loop. Naming your critic Changing the way you ask questions, limiting social comparison, and practicing self-compassion are all ways to turn self-doubt into useful self-awareness. Being patient, thinking things through, and being kind to yourself are very important. Don't forget that your inner critic isn't your enemy. It needs limits, understanding, and direction to be a good guide. You're not broken. You're getting smarter. You're getting bigger. Every time you ask yourself questions out of curiosity instead of fear, you're getting closer to the person you want to be.